All right, hey guys, Jason. We are up here at Jimmy Britt here in Statesboro. Love these guys up here. Today we're going to talk about 5 things about the Gladiator that drive me nuts and fixes for them. How do you fix them? But things that, like I said, one of my favorite vehicles ever made. Hands down, one of my all-time favorite vehicles. I straight up love the Gladiator. It will always have a sweet spot in my heart, no doubt about it. And I love the way this one's set up. This is basically a sport. This is, what is this? What do they call it? A dark sky package. Because of the hood, I'm guessing we're a dark sky. Here's the info on it if you want. 48, it's a sport, and I believe you're gonna see in here somewhere a dark sky package or something on there, I'm assuming. But point being is, love the looks of this thing. Beautiful, beautiful Jeep. Got nice wheels on it. Nice tires on there, 35 by 12 and a half. So I love the running boards. If I buy another one, they will have these running boards on it rather than having rock rails. These boards will go on for sure. I'm not worried about rock rails down here, but I am definitely would love to keep the mud, help keep the mud off the side of the truck. So like I said, beautiful setup, but there are 5 things about this vehicle that drives me nuts. What are they? And how do you fix them? First one, the bed depth. Okay, 17 inches of bed depth is what we get here. Shallowest bed in the mid-size world. We get 17 inches here. That is, look how shallow this is on this whole setup here. So that's a definite bummer. Okay, if you're using a tonneau cover like I do, you can see it on my Power Wagon over there, my brown, right now, brown Power Wagon. But you can see that tonneau cover. If you put a tonneau cover on here, you're very limited. Coolers, things like that, it gets very, very tight spaced underneath here. So that is definitely one bummer. There's really no way to fix that, especially because you'd have to bring that up. You don't want to bring it down, because if you bring it down, you're losing departure angle. So I understand why they do it, to keep the body line streamlined. I get it. I understand it. It's just kind of a bummer. How would you fix it? You would fix it by putting a cap on the back. If you want to cover stuff up back there, like an RSI smart cap, something like that, where you can still lock it and have it enclosed on there. Buddy of mine has this basically this exact Jeep in a 2024, same kind of thing. He's got an RSI smart cap on his. He absolutely loves it. I think he's got 150,000 miles, original everything on his truck, with the exception of brakes or brake pads, still same rotors, but he's replaced brake pads and tires. But he's 150,000 miles on that Gladiator, and it is running strong. And he's got an RSI smart cap on it, and it is amazing. So that is one problem and one simple solution for it. The next one, I do not like how, it didn't bother me a few years ago, because it was that way. The Tacoma's that way, the Frontier's that way, the locker thing. Okay, when you have a Rubicon or a Willys or a Mojave, you have a rear locker in those, and then in a Rubicon you get front and rear lockers. Jeep will let you use your rear locker in 4 high, but in order to do that, you got to use the Off-Road Plus button. So you have to literally stop and turn on the Off-Road Plus button, press traction control, and turn off the electronic stability control. Then you can use it. So it's still a couple of processes. It takes a few seconds to go through and do it, where like in my Ram, I just touch the button and I got a rear locker anytime I want to. Ford, same thing. They give them out like candy. Touch the button, locks right up. Love that. How do you fix that locker issue in this? Fortunately, that is a very simple fix. It is done with the Taser Mini. Very, very simple. You buy a Taser Mini, you plug it in. You can not only, in a Rubicon, not only can you use your rear locker in 4 high without having to go, you never touch the off-road button again, off-road plus button. You just touch your rear locker button and it'll engage, but it will also engage in 2-wheel drive. Now with my Rubicon that we had, what was beautiful with that Taser Mini, I could set that up, because all that Taser Mini does is it lets you bypass the nannies, the BS stuff in there. Plus it lets you recalibrate for the larger tires. A lot of that, so many great features for the whatever it is, 320 bucks or something. Well worth it all day long. But when you're looking like, here's a Gladiator Rubicon, and when we take a look at this, you have front and rear lockers in this. Well, technically stock, this will let you use your rear locker in 4, if you're in 4 high, and you have the Off-Road Plus button on and the traction controlled and ESC turned off. It'll let you use the rear locker. You still got to go into 4 low to use the front locker. Put a Taser Mini in there and I can use the rear locker in 2 high. I can use the rear locker in 4 high, and I don't have to turn off anything. All I gotta do is touch the locker button And in 4 low, or in 4 high, I can also use the front locker. So I can use both lockers in 4 high, where normally I could only use the front, both lockers in 4 low. So I gain that. I also gain the ability to run my rear locker in 4 high by itself with no having to go through any other steps. And I can also run the rear locker in 2 high without having to go through any steps. Plus all the other benefits of the Taser Mini. Win, win, win. So the Taser Mini is how you solve that problem. The other one, no bed power, okay? Gladiator gives you bed lights in almost every single one. Bed lights right there, nice, perfect. Oh, bed lights right there, perfect. Bed lights right there, perfect. Okay, they do a really good job at this. Bed lights right there, perfect. Bed power, none. Bed power, none. Bed power, none. Bed power, none, okay? You never get bed power in a Gladiator. Now you can, but it comes with the tonneau cover and all this other BS stuff that you gotta get, and it's very upsetting. We get bed lights, I like that, but bed power would be amazing. There's no other vehicle made today that is used more for outdoor adventuring than a Gladiator as far as pickup trucks go. And yet they don't give us bed power back there. The thing that would be most important to many people to keep things charged and running, and they don't give it to it. Very upsetting. How did I fix that? What is the fix for that? When I had mine and I was running my fridges and stuff back there, is I put a deep cycle LiPo 4 battery in that corner right there, and I would let that battery, that 100 amp hour battery, power my fridges and power all my stuff back here. And then I had a battery charger that was Velcroed on top of that battery, just sat in that corner. When I got home each night, I'd run a cord, an extension cord, right through my, right under my tonneau cover in that corner, kind of fit it right between here, and I'd plug into that battery charger. It sat right there, you know, the cord. So I could just plug in right there, and then all night long, while I'm sitting at home, or anytime I'm at home, my house power through an extension cord is keeping that battery charged. When I'm on the road and I'm running, then the battery doesn't get charged like it would if you had bed power, but the battery can charge or run all my other stuff. It sucks. Give us a freaking bed plug. Give us a stupid bed plug. Seriously. Very upsetting. Okay. Next one, number 4 on our list. This one, unfortunately, really doesn't have a fix, and that is the internet BS that surrounds Jeep, okay? That surrounds this Gladiator. If I hear one more person tell me how they're not reliable, okay, they got a bad reputation, they're poor quality. Have you owned one? Have you owned one recently? Have you, seriously? I mean, how can you say that it's poor quality when you got, you know, you got Dana solid front axles, Dana solid rear axles, you got the things built. This is a freaking tank. Okay, it's an absolute tank on every level and built incredibly well, robust as it gets, tough as nails. It doesn't get better than that, and the fit and finish will blow any Toyota made today out of the water. Plain and simple, blow it right out of the water. And yet people are like, oh, Jeep's junk, Jeep's trash, Jeep's garbage. And then I love it when I hear, well, I had a Jeep and it had nothing but problems electrical, okay? Are you gonna be the one to admit that maybe those electrical problems came from the fact that you wired the winch yourself, you wired in the, you wired in the lights in there, and then you went ahead and put different bulbs in there, and you had CAN bits problems, and you did all these kind of things. You put a cool light bar on the top, and you changed all this stuff out, and then you put all these you did all this stuff to it yourself. Okay, did you ever think maybe the stuff that you put on there caused your electrical issues rather than it happening? Or how about this? Okay, my Jeep's been nothing but problems. Yet you take the thing at 60 miles an hour through, through 12-inch deep mud holes, and you have this thing shooting up all over, water spraying everywhere, and you're out there and you think that's how you get to have fun with stuff, doing dumb stuff with your vehicle. Not off-roading the right way, but literally abusing your vehicle, and then you're mad when things go wrong. Okay, I got water in my differential and I couldn't believe it because it's actually shouldn't have happened. Yet you went dry for 50 miles and then you dumped the thing straight into a 12 or 15 inch deep puddle, not giving the diffs a chance to cool first. Seriously, the stuff we see happen is just stupid. It really is. It's just stupid. And I believe that the internet hype and BS that surrounds these things have given it such a bad reputation when in reality they are excellent. They are straight up excellent on every level. I do not believe there is a vehicle made on any other lot today that is better than this. As good as, yes, not better, not better. Okay, there's just as many Jeeps at a dealership getting worked on as there is Ford F-150s, as there is Rangers, as there is Toyotas. okay? That bothers me tremendously. Then the last one on our list right here, okay? This one is new to 24s, and actually some of the 23s had it, but I cannot tolerate it, and it is this stupid box right here, okay? This stupid black area right there that you see where that mirror is right there, where the rear view mirror is, that blackout for all the stupid sensory crap and all this BS that's in them today, that takes away so much of that view. It's just disgusting. Let me show you a difference here on a Sport versus this, okay? Let's show you the difference. So if we look at this red Jeep right here, okay? Just look at it from here and see that big, blocky, messy, can't see by, and it's a huge box in there. It's not just right there, look at that. It's a massive box in there that blinds, takes away all your vision, okay? It's ridiculous, okay? But look at how that limits your view so bad right there. Then look at how nice that is. But just that rear view mirror there. Look at how nice that is. Look how simple and perfect that is, and how that view is, and how nice that is to be able to see everything out of there. And then look at that cutoff where you literally get just this little bit of room right there. And then when you try to look sideways even, when you look out, you're trapped in a little box right in there. I'll probably put an inset in from one of the Gladiator reviews I did. It'll show you that right here. Those are my gripes. Those are my 5 things about the Gladiator today, the new ones, that just pissed me off pretty bad. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.